Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Tinks Live. Tonight, joining me is Allison Goslin and Mindy. We'll wait for a couple of you guys to come on, and then I'll have the girls introduce themselves. But tonight, we are talking about cruising with children, and both of these ladies have beautiful young families and young children. I see some people jumping on. So once you are on, let us know where you're from. And if you have any questions, please feel free to post them and we will do our very best to get them answered. So let's see who is joining us this evening. We'll keep waiting for a few more people to jump on. We will have some special prizes. Hi, Rochelle from Houston. Mindy, do you want to take a few minutes and just introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. Okay, so my name is Mindy Loop. I've been with Tinks for, I think, 10 years now. It's been a while. I have two young boys. One is 2 and one is just turned 5. We are big Disney World people, but we also love to cruise. And I've been on a cruise with my oldest when he was 2 years old.
Awesome. Thank you. Allison, you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. My name's Allison Goslin, and I've been with Tinks going almost 3.5, 4 years now. And I was a client prior to becoming an agent. I have a 8-year-old, and I've been traveling with her to Disney destinations since she was 3. So we've gone cruising, we've gone to Disney World, we've done a lot of different things with her.
Awesome. So I know everybody who's coming on right now, we're going to discuss cruising with kids. So we did have a few questions come in, and we'll get started right now. Mindy or Allison, what are the different clubs for kids on board?
Mindy, you want to talk about the nursery, and then I can talk about a couple of the other ones?
Yes, there is a nursery available for kids, for those younger kids who can't go to the kids clubs. I'm not sure. I know the start age is
6 months.
Okay, yeah, I thought it was young, 6 months. And they have different things available for the kids there. They tell you what you can bring, what you can't bring. I think it goes up to 3 years old in the nursery.
Now, is there a charge? Someone asked us as well to go.
No.
Yes.
I think with the nursery, there is a charge.
Sorry.
You don't have to.
Yeah. The nursery, there is a charge, but Mindy, I think you're thinking of the kids clubs. Yeah. No, absolutely. There is a charge, and you do have to register for the nursery because there's limited number of slots. Mindy, did you ever take advantage of the nursery? I didn't on my cruise with my little one.
We brought drinks.
Yeah, so I hadn't personally taken advantage of it, but I do know that you need to register. Sometimes there are slots available when you do get on board. You can also register during your pre-registration period, and as well as see the rates at that time too.
Excellent. So Allison, you want to tell us a little bit about the kids clubs for, once they're out of the nursery? What are our options?
Sure. Mindy, did you have any experience with the kids clubs, or yours was still too little? So our daughter was 4, and they had our ship, the Dream, the Oceaneers Club, as well as the Disney Oceaneers Lab. And she was old enough to be in there, but she was still kind of young, where she was alone, and she wasn't feeling it. But they do allow children, once they're potty trained, from 3 to, I believe it's 11 or 12, to use the Oceaneers Club and the Oceaneers Lab. And they have all sorts of activities to include, there's character greetings sometimes down there, or sometimes characters will read stories. There's little play areas. In the Disney Dream, you can actually fly the Millennium Falcon, which is pretty neat. And they just have all sorts of activities for the kids, so that if you want to kind of take some adult time or go have an adult dinner, it's kind of nice. We did not get to take advantage of that, but hopefully our next cruise she'll want to join into those more.
Now, I know the parents can go in with them on the first day of the cruise, right, for like an hour, an open house. So if you kids want to go in and experience it while you're still there, they can check it out with you being there with them.
And you can fly the Millennium Falcon.
I know, that is the cool part, to go fly. And on the Wish, then you can take the slide from the Grand Hall down, which is pretty cool during open house time. So I have seen adults do that. What happens when our children outgrow the Oceaneers lab and club? What is next for them to do, or do they just run wild on the ship?
It's chaos. No, they get to go into the tweens, and that is 11 to 14-year-olds, and they have their own special area, and it's called Edge. And a lot of kids that we're friends with families that their kids just take off and just say to their parents, "We'll see you later."
Yeah.
They just go to the clubs. That's all they want to do. They meet up for dinner or maybe at the pool, but they like to go hang out in their kind of specified area. And then at 15, they have Vibe that they can go to that area, and it has a whole other section for the older teens to go into. And it just kind of gives them their own space. It makes it a little more personal for them. I think it's definitely nice for mom and dad to be able to have some time. And I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, the younger kids have wristbands, so they check in and out, and they cannot check themselves out unless you give instructions that they are able to. So it's not like your 3-year-old or 4-year-old can check themselves out and be wandering the ship. The teens and the tweens can kind of come and go once they check in with their wristbands.
Okay, and what's the highest level club that they can go to?
For most of them, it would be the Vibe. That would be the Vibe is for the oldest kids. And I haven't been on the Wish, so maybe you can speak to this, Kristen. But there was supposed to be another little area that has karaoke that I had read about that was called the Hideaway.
There's a Hideaway there, and then they also now have started the 18-20 club. So 18 to 20, it's not really like structured activities, but my daughter went. They both went the first time we were on the Wish, and it's pretty neat. Like they do have a counselor or two there from the Vibe or Edge just to like kind of ice break, and then they do have a special, thing that they can go do, but it's unsupervised. Like they don't have a, designated cast member with them or anything.
So there's lots of options. Yeah.
Lots of options. Okay. Next, we had a question that was, how are the pools for the kids? And are they able to swim? Specifically, someone asked, if their child is not potty trained, are they permitted to go into the pools?
Well, in my experience, we spend a lot of time in the splash pad because if children are not potty trained and they are wearing a swim diaper, unfortunately, they cannot go into the pools. But there is a splash pad, and like for us, we were on the Magic, and it was like a cute little Nemo themed splash pad. So my little boy never missed a beat. We spent all our days there at the splash pad. It was very cute.
That's awesome. Allison, did your daughter experience any of the pools?
She was potty trained, so she was able to go into the pools and absolutely loved it. What we thought was really neat was that the pools all had like life jackets, as well as at Castaway they had the life jackets. So that was a really neat feature of the Disney cruises. But she also really liked the splash pad, and I know she's 8 now, but I have a feeling that she's still going to want to go on the splash pad. It's just something really neat, and it has really cool theming on the different ships. But the pools are neat. They're not super, super deep. So she had a great time because she could touch the bottom and she felt really secure and safe in the pool.
Awesome. And do you know if there's lifeguards at the pool?
Yes, lots of lifeguards.
Lots of lifeguards. Perfect. All right. Next we have a question. Is it safe to have a veranda with a small child? And I know before we started, Mindy was kind enough to show a picture and everything. So Mindy, you want to maybe show that and explain a little bit?
Okay, yeah, so we had a veranda. I just thought we would maybe need a little bit of extra space, and I love the fact that you can go out and look. But the handle to the door was way above his height. I mean, he's 2. And you can see in this picture, he's like looking out, but he's not even close. Like there's this big, there's this big, thick white metal here, and then there's these railings, and it's covered in like a plexiglass kind of thing. And so this is the top of it way up here. So he wasn't even close. So he was able to explore, of course, when we were out there, but he could not have opened the door at all. It's like got a lock, and I have a picture of it with my husband next to it, so you can see kind of how tall it is, if I can find it, of course. But yeah, we felt very safe, even with the veranda.
We did too with our daughter. She was a little bit bigger than the 2-year-old, but there was absolutely no way that she could get that lock open and get the door handle up. I actually thought it was a little tricky to do myself.
The door handle,
Yep.
Yeah, it's right here. It's like it's very hard. Oop.
It's hard to open, right, Mindy?
Yeah.
And then there's a lock at the top too.
Yeah,
so
right.
You're
I don't have
double
a
locked
picture of that,
in.
but yeah.
Yeah, I felt very, very safe, and because that was one of our concerns cruising with a young child. We wanted the veranda, but we were concerned about, her being able to get out if we were asleep. There was no way.
All right. Great. So we just had Matthew ask, do the kids eat well at the restaurants? Like, what are some of the kids' food at the restaurant?
So the food, I have a very, very picky eater. She's still picky. I think when we were cruising, we were in the fruit phase, and I don't even think she was doing chicken nuggets at that point in time, and pasta. I think we ate pasta. The staff on all the ships they're so amazing that regardless of what is on the menu, if they find out your child will only eat this or is allergic to this, you'll find that you'll come to the table at night, and if it's not on the menu, you're going to have a bowl of strawberries sitting right there, or they're going to remember that your child is very picky with eating or sensitive to things, and they're going to offer stuff that's not even on the menu to you. They will make it happen. So from the pickiest of eaters, my child ate extremely well. She did not starve at all the entire week, and there was always something. I don't know about you. How about you, Mindy, with a 2-year-old?
Yeah, same. I mean, he's kind of a picky eater, but he's kind of adventurous too. So he's kind of in between. But we had a Mickey ice cream every day, every night at dinner after. They had beignets in Tiana's place, so he ate really well.
He ate very well. Awesome. Thank you, girls. And this question seems to come to Tinks a lot. Can kids use the concierge lounge? Is it
Absolutely
family friendly?
Very, very family friendly. Absolutely. The concierge level has some benefits with kids that, you get to kind of wait in a separate area. So people that have kids are a little bit more mobile and run off. Sometimes they kind of like to be in a separate area. At Castaway, it gives you the ability to put in for a cabana. There isn't a guarantee, but you have a much, much higher chance of getting a cabana if you're a concierge level, because you get first dibs along with the Pearl. And I believe the Platinum level still, Kristen, is that correct?
Yes. Yeah.
So some people like to have that cabana, so that's another option. There's a lounge that has snacks all day long for both adults and children. There's a pool area. So as long as your family is a concierge level, your children, no matter what age, are able to take advantage of that. So absolutely.
And they can book things like the tea, Olaf's picnic, because we got some questions about that. What is Princess Tea and Olaf's picnic?
Mindy, did you get to do those?
No, I didn't.
So we did for the Princess Tea. Very cool experience. All I have to say is bring your princess dresses. My daughter dressed up as, I think she was dressed in her Tiana outfit for when we went. And you sit and you get little finger sandwiches, and the adults get tea.
Oh, she froze up a little bit. But yes, the adults do get the tea. And I think they get a little bag and a crown, and the princesses are there. They can get photos taken and
Oops, there we go.
Things like that. Okay, I was just telling a little bit about it. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, it was really great. The kids get apple juice, and then they get goodies. So I think Lillian got a bracelet, a jewelry box. Each princess that came out gave a little charm to go on the bracelet. She got a doll. She got an autograph book. She got a pen. So I know it's a little pricey, but it's definitely worth doing at least once, at least for the Princess Tea. And Olaf it's with Olaf versus the princesses.
Yeah, awesome.
It's really cool.
And this is something people worry about all the time. What if I cannot secure main dining, Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique, or the Princess Gatherings? We have a lot of guests I know that do contact us. What advice, Mindy, would you give a guest if they cannot secure those when their booking window opens?
Right. Some guests, unfortunately, are not able to get the main seating whenever we book, but you can get waitlisted to get on the second seating, and you can always go to guest services right when you board, and they usually try to accommodate. And of course, it is easier to be in the main seating when you have youngers. I know we did the main seating. Sometimes we didn't. Sometimes he could make the shows. Sometimes he couldn't after. But that was really key. But we were able to get it when we booked. But if you're not, you can get waitlisted, or you can go to guest services when you board.
Perfect. And another real popular question that we get asked a lot is bed rails, pack and plays. Where can I get them? Do you encourage guests to bring them from home? Bottle warmers, things like that. Where can they get them, Allison?
You can talk to your Tinks agent, and what we can do for you is we can actually request many of those things prior to your trip. Bottle warmers, they do have a limited number on board. Those can be requested from guest services once you're on board. Your room attendant, the stateroom attendants, will be able to assist you with a diaper genie. And they come in every night, and we'll put the bed rails up for you, and then stow them during the day so they're not in the way. Again, with a 4-year-old, she wasn't in a pack and play at the time, but she was just kind of getting used to sleeping in a bed with the rails, and we were totally fine on the ship. She slept very well. They had character sheets. So your stateroom attendants can do a lot for you, but we can also request some of those things ahead of time.
Yeah, and have either one of you had experience asking the stateroom host for special princess sheets, like a bottom sheet? Sometimes they have those. They are limited, but I've heard that you can request them.
We were actually surprised that we got them. We didn't know to ask for them, and they showed up on the bed, and it was really special.
That's cool. She must have been very happy about that.
Yes.
Okay, we have a couple more questions that have come in. Let me just scroll through. Do you find that it's difficult? Someone wants to know, not having a bathtub to bathe a little one in. How did you handle that? They're like, my little one will have sand all over them from the beach. What's your experience with using everything is obviously in a smaller space. How do you guys, this woman says, my child likes to take a bath. What would you guys recommend?
We had a bathtub in our room.
You have a small little one?
Yeah, we had a small one. And the handles come down.
Yeah.
Because my daughter, at the same time, she was a bath. She didn't shower at that time. It was all strictly baths. And absolutely, you want to get the chlorine, the sand, whatever they've gathered during the day. And it's a smaller space, but it was extremely doable. She loved it that it was smaller. She thought it was fun. It was like having a mini pool, she said.
Yeah.
And just because the shower head can be a handheld, it's very easy to rinse them off.
Excellent. Awesome. And speaking of sand, like where would we get like a bucket and a shovel to play on the beach with at like Castaway? Is that something we can rent? Do you recommend bringing them from home? How did you guys handle that?
We brought our own stuff. I actually have some links for Amazon if you want to email me. There's collapsible buckets that we like to use, and some small shovels so that our daughter was still able to play in the sand, but I didn't take up a lot of space in the luggage with things like that. But it is nice to have that because there's so much to do at Castaway, but little ones especially, you give them sand and they're good for hours.
They're happy sitting on the edge of the water and playing. And now someone else asked, do kids have to wait for their parents to get their food in the fancy dining room?
Fancy dining meaning the sit-down dining?
Sit-down. Yep, the sit-down restaurants. Do the kids have to wait, or I've heard that the servers will bring out and serve the children first, especially if they want to go to a club or anything.
Yes. So if the kids are, I believe if you're with your parents, or if it has to be during your dining time, you can't just like randomly show up at the
Right.
restaurants. But they will feed the kids and have their food come out first, and then the kids are able to go to the club. So especially at the second seating, that is something that happens often, where the young kids especially, they're just like, just feed me. But they might want to go play for a little bit while mom and dad finish up dinner. They will do that for you.
Excellent. And can you leave your kids in the club while you go to Paulo's or something like that? And do they feed them on, if you let them know that they need to be fed? Is it okay to leave the kids there to go to Paulo's?
Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely. And they will notify you. So when we left our daughter, I went to the spa. My husband went to do something on his own. And they had, at the time, Wave phones. This was pre-app stuff. But they will alert you through the app. If your child needs you or wants you, they will alert you. So I got called away from the spa. But I at least knew that she wanted us. They will not just like let them sit there and be miserable, and they will not let them just kind of randomly roam back to you. So if you do want to go to Paulo or Remy or Lumiere's, you absolutely can leave them in the clubs. And if it's a nursery, you do have to schedule an appointment for the nursery to make sure that your younger ones can be in there. I don't remember, and Kristen, you can chime in. I don't remember if they will actually feed them in there or not.
Yes, there are certain times that they.
Are there certain times? Okay.
They can do a dinner thing, nuggets, whatever's on the menu.
They're very accommodating.
Right, and they do really take allergies very seriously there.
Right.
Oh yeah.
And Matthew's asking, how do you communicate with your kids when they're in the kids club? Like how did they get in touch with you?
So what ended up happening was one of the counselors, they're able to message you through the app and let you know that, so both my husband and I got the alerts that our daughter was not happy and wanted to leave the club, and would we, please come and pick her up. Yep.
And do you have to set up a PIN or a special code or something to be able to go pick up your child?
I don't remember that piece. I don't think so. We had to sign in for something, and you have to show, there must have been a PIN. We couldn't no one could just randomly come and say, I want to take that kid. You do have to prove that it's your child, and I don't remember if it was on her wristband. I know she had a band to get in. Yeah. But yeah, you do have to prove it's your child before you can pick your child up, and you can't go in the club. They will not let adults in the club after the first day. You can only go to the check-in area, and where you have to wash your hands. All kids have to wash their hands before they go in as well. But that's where you go to pick your child up, is you let them know you're there to pick your kid up, or you're there to meet your child, and they will go find your child for you. You can't go in and get them.
Okay, perfect.
It's very, very safe.
So you both felt, your children are young. You both felt safe leaving them there, to have a good time and everything. Excellent.
Yes, I wish she would have stayed longer. Yes.
I know. I'm excited to go back now that my boys are older, and they'll have each other to go with each other and spend some time in the adult-only pool.
Yes. We're traveling with friends the next time, so I'm hoping that, and our daughter is older now, I'm hoping that they all kind of, as you said, they're together, and we'll kind of, stay with each other and play, and I think it's going to be a different experience. I do think it's harder when it's just one child, that, it can be hard. So you just have to set the expectation, as a parent, that your child may absolutely love the kids clubs and want to stay there, and your child may not want anything to do with it, especially if they're an only child. So you just can't. You got to kind of just go with it. I mean, we were hoping all week that she was going to stay in there, and she didn't, and that was fine. We just kind of adapted around that, and we made it work, and we had a fabulous time, and we'll see how it goes this time.
This time. I think
I will say that people always say, you know, is it worth it to bring the kids when they're young? Same with Disney World. Is it worth it? They won't remember it. But my little boy, I'm telling you, for his little 2-year-old self, he lived his best life. He went to his first movie. There's a movie theater. You know, we hadn't experienced a movie theater because, you know, I didn't want to buy the tickets, but we randomly went in one day and he loved it and he sat through it. And, you know, we got to see all the characters. We waited in line for characters. Sometimes we just catch them, you know, when they were just coming out. He got to eat ice cream all day, like all day, playing in the splash pad. So he had the best time, and I have the best memories from it. So I say it's definitely worth it, even when they're little.
Yeah. I would agree with that. And I had some clients. I'm going to do a shout out to the O'Bannon clan. They just went and they had a young one and wrote a beautiful blog and basically said, you know, absolutely it was worth it. And sometimes at dinner they were walking the stairs, but there was stuff to do, you know, with their little one. They're living their best life, as you said, Mindy. They, you know, the kids have a good time. I know there's a detective game that you can play on some of the ships too, which is really fun. So there's just all sorts of things that you can just find to do. You don't get to do it all. I mean, that's why you want to go back again. And no matter how old or young your child is, they're going to find something that they absolutely connect with, and it's just going to bring you the greatest amount of joy, and you're going to have a great time.
If you guys had to give one, before we close off for the evening, one item that as a mom of young children you had to, was a must-have that you needed or wish that you had packed, what's the one item you would think that a mom with young children should pack? Do you have one thing that you're like, oh, I'm so glad I had that, or I wish that I had packed that?
I had two things. One was I packed the princess dresses because we had to change our dress every day. And you can pack those very nicely in those Ziploc bags, like the big ones where you can compress the air out, packed beautifully. So I'm glad I had princess dresses because we had to walk around in those. The other thing is crayons and coloring books. Absolutely, especially at dining when you just want a moment of like peace. You give them some crayons and some paper, they are good to go for at least 10, 15 minutes.
Yes,
you get a little time to
eat. Boy with the little crate at dinner.
Yeah.
Waiting.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, can you talk for a second about the cups? Like, did you bring that sippy cup or did they have that for you?
No, we just most of the time requested a cup with a lid. But I, of course, definitely brought sippy cups. Just to, you know, just to have, because at that time he was only drinking, but he can also drink through a straw. So we did request, you know, cups with lids. I will say the number one thing that I was glad that I brought would be like little swim shoes.
Oh, okay.
Because he could just go into his splash pad with them, come without them, you know, and we always had them. But yeah, I definitely brought sippy cups, all that, and just refilled them with the refillable stations.
Perfect. Yeah, because that decking can get extremely hot. So that's good. That's good.
That's a good call.
Those are really good. So I know that you guys had told me beforehand that you were having a special offer. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yes, if you decide that you would like to book with either Mindy or myself, and you book within the next week, so we'll say by this coming Saturday, and you book any Disney destination, and you travel before September 30th of 2023, you will get an extra $25 gift card sent to you.
Perfect. I know we were going to play a little game. We don't have a lot of people on here, so we'll hold off and we'll do the game another time. How many, let me get your information up here, girls. So just remember, if anyone is watching, again, Allison and Mindy are ready to book your magical vacations, even if it's not cruise. One question that did just come in, do I need a car seat to go on the Disney transfers?
Disney transfers as far as getting to the port?
Getting to the port. If I take the Disney bus, how do I need a car seat?
No.
All right. Perfect. Girls, I cannot thank you enough. I even learned something because my kids are now 21, so it's hard to remember back to then. Remember, I put Allison and Mindy's information at the bottom. If you guys would like to book a magical Disney destination vacation, whether you have young kids, older kids, these two ladies, they're the experts. And again, they're offering a book any Disney destination and travel before September 30th and mention this live stream. These lucky ladies are going to give you as a thank you a $25 gift card. So thank you, girls, for joining. This was awesome. I look forward to
Thank you.
coming
Thank you for
back
having
another time. Thanks, girls.
Thanks for having us, Kristen.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.